Okay. Well, hey, cheers, man. Podcast number 1. More movement, more money.
It's an honor to be here.
Fresh organic coconut water. All right, guys.
Gotta love those electrolytes.
So today, I got a guest with me, first episode. But more movement, more money. Real quick on what that means. So more movement. Movement can be literally anything. So it can be literal physical movement. I'm going to try to get you guys to move every day, of course. But it could be business moves. It could be moves in your family life, your relationships, whatever. It could be movement. And that brings more money. And money doesn't just mean money. So money can mean, fulfillment. It can mean joy. It could be more physical things, of course. Money's very physical. We all like money. But more everything. So more movement, more money. We're going to bring on guests to this podcast. They're going to be leaders. They're going to be artists, authors, obviously a lot of yogis, a lot of people in the healing community, whether it's sound healing, cacao, everything. We're going to bring everybody on, and we're going to pretty much dissect what it means to bring more movement and more money into your life. So with that being said, episode number 1, we have the Iceman himself, Dave Robinson. I got a little intro for him. The Iceman, who has revolutionized cold therapy in Sayulita. Someone who has always said fuck the system and didn't let the lockdowns get the best of him. I love that. He walks around with more than 10 abs, the most colorful pants in the game, the friendliest Canadian energy and vibe, a jawline chiseled by dry mango and steak, displaying everything but being a Guido Desabrito. So, good intro. So welcome, Dave. How you doing, man?
Gracias. It's an honor to be here. That was a great introduction, and I'm honored to be on the first episode of this viral podcast. It's going to be viral. I'm manifesting it right now.
See. So, just to give give everybody a little background, I just met Dave like 5 months ago.
Yeah, end of November.
Yeah, so I think I moved to Sayulita maybe 7 months ago. He moved to Sayulita like 6 months ago. We moved almost the same time, and we met a month later. Dude, it was a little soul bro connection right away. Started talking about Bitcoin, death, afterlife,
all the essentials for a true friendship,
primal living. What he does, so he is pretty much, when I say revolutionize cold therapy in Sayulita, what he has done is something really cold.
Literally.
Really cool.
Literally.
But it's cold. So pretty much he's made, I don't think there's any other like ice bath events like that are regular in Sayulita, but he's the one everybody knows about. He's becoming the event that's where if like you're coming to Sayulita, you want to take his ice bath event, heart coherence meditation, you got Wim Hof involved, and then we do ice bath right after. It's every Tuesday and Thursday at noon. I join every Tuesday and Thursday pretty much. And I know how it's affected my life and what it's done for me, but I'm really curious, like, how did you get started in the, just cold therapy realm in general?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've been practicing it for about 2 years now. Like most people, I started out with cold showers. I read this book that talked about cold therapy, and it mentioned Wim Hof, actually, which is, if you know about cold therapy, you know about Wim Hof. But This book just spoke about doing cold showers, so I was doing that for a while. And then I started to get really interested into health and wellness and human optimization, and I started going through my own health issues, both physically and mentally. And then I just started learning how actual cold immersion, apart from showers, like going in a tub, like an ice bath.
Big difference, right?
Yeah, it was a huge difference. So I started doing that at my home, where I'd just go buy bags of ice, fill the tubs up, and it was like incredible how effective it was. I remember there was this one time, it was on Christmas Eve, and I had a complete breakdown about something. I don't even know. It was clearly not important, and I just felt depressed and anxious, and I was like, fuck this. And I just went to the store, I bought like 6 bags of ice, filled the tub, went in, came out, and just like whatever I was having a breakdown about was gone, and I just felt, I was born again. Like in Dragon Ball Z when they go in like the water chambers and they completely... Yes. I'm going to throw in a lot of Dragon Ball Z references.
This was your first ice bath?
That was like...
Or just first meaningful one?
First meaningful one. I think I had done a couple before, but that was the one where I was really like, wow, this is pretty important. Like if I was in like a really bad spiraling state, and if I was able to bring myself back to homeostasis that quickly, I was in the tub for like 3 minutes. And I remember going out to my ex and being like, yeah, I'm not upset anymore, because she was obviously concerned. It was Christmas Eve, having a breakdown. And so yeah, that's when I realized how important it was. And on top of that, I was going through a lot of gut issues, specifically like major constipation. And whenever I do an ice bath, like it would just run through me right after. And now I know why, because it upregulates mitochondrial function. The mitochondria is also responsible for creating water. So I believe that by doing that, you're upregulating the mitochondria in your gut, creating more water, and then that allows for better movement, therefore less constipation. And so I would see amazing results from that. So of all the healing modalities I was trying, and I tried everything. I was doing like coffee enemas, so putting coffee up my ass. Yeah. all this weird shit, because I was desperate, and that was the biggest, like that moved the needle the most. Obviously there's other things, and then just in my mental health journey, it's made a profound difference, where now I'm at the point, if I'm ever like upset or angry about something, rather than reacting, I go and take an ice bath, and it completely neutralizes it. Like more so than most people will use like exercise as a way to calm down, which is great, and I do that as well. But for me, an ice bath is like 10 times more potent. Yeah. So that's how I started doing it on myself, and then I've always wanted to educate people in health and how to be optimal, both like mentally, physically, spiritually. But since I was going through my own issues, you can't really teach if you're also... So, I mean, you can, but I just felt inauthentic if I was teaching people and I was like...
Whoa. You mean you're not breathwork certified? You're not a 500 RYT yoga instructor already?
But no, not just that.
What are you doing, man?
Not
what are you
just
doing?
That. I'm a phony.
Just so everybody knows, he knows about 100 times more about the science and the physiology of cold exposure in general than just about anybody I know. So, yeah, to certifications, if you really care about them, the facts don't really care about you, because the facts are most people with certifications in anything, they don't really know what they're talking about. And I've experienced a lot of those, but there's some people who do, of course. You can learn a lot. But this man, like, it just goes to show you do not need a certification to do what you're doing, because everybody who's came to this workshop, and there's popping workshops, sometimes over like 12, 15 people, like, it's a very new workshop. Anyways, he just brings it into a perfect platter for you.
Well,
and then he knows what he's doing. And the stuff isn't rocket science at the end of the day, so it's like, we've had this conversation about some people asking about certifications, so it's an inside joke, but just so you know, what people actually know is more important than their certification. Yeah. So continue, please.
Yeah, and also you got to practice what you preach too.
100%. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that people with certifications don't do that. I'm sure a lot of them
some
do.
Of them don't.
There's some that don't. But what I was also talking about too is, because like a year ago I really wanted to get into like teaching people to be healthy, and I don't even know where I was going with it, like being a coach. I don't know. I was pretty lost.
Yeah.
But since I was like really struggling with my own health, I took a step back, because I didn't want to like give people advice and be like, oh yeah, that works. But at the same time, I was feeling like shit, because to me that was like inauthentic. So I was not doing anything for a while as far as educating others. I mean, my friends and stuff, I would go on tangents about shit I would learn.
Yeah, of course.
So it was only until recently, January actually, where I started this workshop at Sayulita. And I mean, the story to that is, again, I was lost, didn't really have a purpose or a mission. I came here to rehabilitate myself, and that was a bumpy road. And I was going through a really difficult time at that point with like a bad breakup. And interestingly enough, it was actually, I had intentions of doing this. I got like an ice bath tub from Amazon, and that's the one I use in the workshops for those that see on my Instagram page. That's the one, you can travel with it and stuff. So I'd actually bought that when I was in Tulum. So I had every intention of doing it, but just no drive. And it was actually my ex that was like, you should like do this here. And I was like, you know what, I should, because I need to do something. And yeah, I didn't feel like I was in my masculine energy by not having a mission. Mm-hmm. So I thought that would maybe help with the breakup I was going through, sorry. But if not, at least it was something for me to do and distract myself from the personal stuff I was dealing with. So yeah, I'm giving credit to that, because it
huge thanks to her.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what would have happened. I needed that push. So on a whim, I always walked past Selena going to the beach, and then I saw that they did workshops, so I just walked in and asked, like, can I do an ice bath workshop? And they're like, yeah, when do you want to start?
Where's your certification, bro?
They
forgot to ask.
They
forgot phony hosting all these workshops.
I found a loophole. they never asked me. And yeah, I didn't think much about it. I just knew it was something I needed to do. And a couple weeks after initially going into Selena, I was starting, and I remember getting the message like, oh, you have 2 people signed up. And I was like, oh shit, this is actually happening. And I didn't have any expectations. Like I said, I was mainly doing it as like a distraction, but also as like a hobby as well, because I had spent years assimilating all this information and experimenting on myself. So it's like, now is probably the time to share it with others, and if it resonates with them and if it helps them, that's great. And if not, then that's fine too, because I mean, everyone's different.
Yeah.
There's obviously a subjective experience to the ice baths. Everyone have different experiences. For the most part, everyone fucking loves them after they get out.
Yeah.
And then I just remember doing the first workshop, having no expectations, and just having the mindset of, I don't care where this goes, because it's an excuse for me to do an ice bath. Like, if no one shows up, I'm doing an ice bath, so I'm still winning. And then just the way I felt talking to these people. And
do you realize you just explained the epiphany of like using your, what is it called, your trials and tribulations as your mission? What's that phrase? There's like a quote for it. Turn your pain to your mission, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Quite literally, you were either way you're doing it. Like, people need to hear this, because there's a lot of things people are doing for themselves to heal themselves. Mm-hmm. And if they just open that space up, you don't have to be again, we bring it back to the certificate. You don't have to be some crazy meditation person or breathwork person or whatever, like, have these certifications. If you're healing yourself with, like, meditation, it's like asking your friends, like, hey, I'm healing myself this way. You want to have group meditations every Wednesday night? Next thing you know, you're all healing together. It's like, you don't really need to do anything other than host a space. Like, you're not overdoing anything to where, like, most people have what you're doing or are doing what you're doing in a certain way. Maybe it's not cold exposure. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's breath work, whatever it is. Or just exercise. But the next thing you know, if they would share that to their close friends who need it as well, or their family, whatever it is, that's where magic happens. And next thing you know, you're hosting workshops with, like, tons of people coming, and, like, this pop in social media, all of these awesome videos.
Yeah, I think the cool thing is, and the reason why, well, what I was going to say is, after the first initial workshop, just the way I felt, getting to speak about the stuff that I was immersed in learning and just super passionate about, and actually having people on the same wavelength resonating with it and enjoying that information, and then seeing, like, how they responded to, whether it be the breath work, the meditation, the ice bath, and then just seeing them after and being like, thank you so much. That was, like, the biggest dopamine hit, more than the dopamine you get from an ice bath, which is a lot.
Yeah.
It was more than that. And then that's when I was hooked, and that's when I realized, like, I need to keep doing this, because it's continuing with my healing journey, because I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm completely healed from it. I'm fine now, so everyone follow me. I'm still in the journey. And it's cool because all these other people that I'm meeting coming to this are going through similar things, a lot of similar stories, and they get to talk to me about it, and I can actually relate to it, and it feels good being able to tell them, like, no, I've been there, I've been going through that, and this is my process, so it's nice to be able to share that process with someone else, and just seeing the results or the feedback that I'm getting, and just like the overall energy of the workshop. My favorite part is when we finish the breath work and everyone's down by the tubs and everyone's just conversing with each other, and you can tell everyone's on the same wavelength, like loving learning about this stuff and saying like, oh, I listened to this podcast, and oh, this and this, I'm on this diet, and it's like a nice party, but like a healing party, you know?
He's right. That's exactly the vibe.
So it's very rewarding, and I got addicted to that. Not only just taking ice baths, but to facilitating it. And and then I remember talking to you about it before I even started it, and we weren't even, like, we were just acquaintances at that point, and I was thinking, like, yeah, I think I'm going to do this ice bath. And you're like, oh, that would be cool. And, like, I had no expectations, and then now fast forward, it's, like, a thing now. And I got to give credit to you as well. Dakota was a major help for me in learning like how to use Instagram. I deleted my Instagram account because I was convinced that social media was like horrible, and there's horrible aspects to it, especially if you're just consuming on it and you're addicted. But what you taught me is like it's a completely different thing when you're creating.
Oh yeah.
You get dopamine hits from that, and like creating videos and stuff, it's an amazing feeling, especially when those videos are geared towards education, specifically education towards health and yoga. But I was completely lost. I didn't even know how to post on Instagram, like barely. And I remember him showing me like InShot, like the application for editing videos, and showing me, and I'm being like, I'm never going to be able to do, like, what the hell? And you just had the utmost confidence in me, and you were helping me, and now I can do it. And it's like, a couple months ago, I never would have thought that. So thank you for that, because the workshop wouldn't be what it is if I didn't have help from you. So thank you. I got to give credit to you, because you played a major role in all of this, actually. And in my healing journey as well, because as you know, it was a rough time during the startup of the ice bath, and it's gotten a lot better now.
Yeah, so, dude, thank you for sharing. This podcast, I just want to make it clear right now, this podcast is not about me whatsoever. So I'm making this podcast for people like Dave, so we can share this with you guys and gals. Because this is like a journey, and I'm on the journey still, because like, you know, we still do a lot of things. Like, you usually, once you figure out how many things you do throughout the day that's ego based, you're like, okay, I'm still really attached to, like, you know, whether it's how I look or what people think of me, whatever, all these things. And it's still a hard game to play when you're playing with content. You're figuring that out now too, once you get like in a public light, I guess.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make it clear that this podcast is truly for y'all. So the main learning lesson I feel like I just heard you say right there is you mentioned your mission as a masculine man. So when me and Dave started our friendship, it's like the only thing that I actually think you asked for advice. We were just like talking, but we were going deep right away. You trusted me for some reason. You were like, what do you think? Or something like that. I'm
a trusting person.
I'm just like, dude, I think you're a mess because you're not on a mission right now. Like, you know what I mean? Things are going to happen, especially, and I'm talking for dudes right now. This is for a masculine dude. If you're a feminine dude, this doesn't really apply to you.
Yeah, and it was interesting because right before having that conversation with you, I had just started learning about divine masculine and divine feminine energy and the roles associated with that energy. So I had actually learned from someone. I had a call with this guy, and he actually runs a business teaching men how to be more masculine. And we'll clarify more on that. It's not about, like, people think that, and it's like, oh, I gotta be big and macho. It's about the traits associated with the energy, like the electromagnetic energy that forms, like, a union. And he was talking about mission and stuff, and it was him actually that was like, oh, you're thinking about doing ice baths? You need to start that right away, because that's a mission. And then it was just interesting that only a couple days later I opened up to you without barely knowing, and that was like the first thing you said. And it's like, okay, I think I'm on the right path, because this keeps coming up, the mission.
So as soon as, you know, the mission comes up, so like his was obviously the ice bath. Things just got so much better in your life, dude. I got to see from an outside perspective. Like, everything just fell into place. all areas of his life, all the anxiety and stuff like that. You know, breakups are rough. So it's like you're handling it just how most people handle it at first. But then as a dude, we tend to forget the mission is the most important. And you will get most of your satisfaction and fulfillment as a masculine man. Like this is a masculine dominated dude we're talking about. And there's nothing wrong if you're feminine, of course. It's just going to be different. You're going to be fulfilled more by like, you know, your love life. But in this, obviously your love life is in shambles or whatever, quote unquote. But as soon as you got the mission there, it's like, love life's going to come back. It's fine. Like you're still waking up awesome. Because I know a lot of dudes out there who have an awesome love life, quote unquote, but their mission is not on point and they are not happy. Yeah. Like, so mission's number one. That's a whole learning lesson I'm getting from this right now. Because I got to watch from an outside perspective him just like flip it upside down.
Yeah, because like you said, I was telling you like my life prior to that, and like I said, it was focused on my own healing, but I feel like my healing journey got pretty stagnant because there was no mission. So I was in, like you said, I was in limbo, just like floating around and like sunning my balls, thinking which is a great thing to do. But if you're just doing that and you're doing nothing else, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're not going to heal, because healing is such a holistic thing. It's not just doing the physical things like sunning the balls or eating the right diet. Yeah. There's many more elements, and when we're talking about feminine and masculine energy, like, the mission is on the top. So when you're waking up with purpose and you have a mission and every day is devoted to succeeding that mission and taking the necessary steps to continue with it and building it up, while at the same time eating the right diet, moving, doing all the health stuff that we do. That's like, for me at least, doing all that together made a massive difference than just focusing on me doing nothing and then just sunning my balls and eating liver. That wasn't enough for me.
So I mean, what you're saying is like, again, the mission. Yeah. The mission's the main thing at the end of the day. So if I've learned anything over the past year and a half, over like, you know, I went through a breakup a year ago. I left an 8-year relationship, and it was a perfect relationship. Still love her to death. But yeah, I just had to walk away from it and like start my own solo life. You know what I mean? And I realized real quick that all these things, you know, sunning your balls, your perineum, like eating good diet, you know, moving, all these things, like all these health activities you're doing, meditating, breath work, all of them, like cold exposure, they are to increase your connection with what we're doing right now. Or we always talk about an antenna. If our bodies are an antenna and we're trying to like dial in and, you know, receive the best frequency or whatever you're trying to dial it in, it's like those things help you for what? The mission. Yeah. It's like, but the mission's the most important. Some people forget about it, and I'm speaking for myself. I forgot about it. I'm just like only caring about these things. And once we went on this health bender like a few months ago, and we're still like on it because we figured out.
Yeah, it never stopped. Yeah, it's not even a bender.
Yeah, but there's like, you know, hot cold therapy, the circadian syncing, like all these things, like just everything, right? Mm-hmm. Being on the mission, working out, like everything. But then all that helped me realize was that like all those things are to help you dial it into where you can channel whatever our mission is. In yoga, it's called the Dharma, your Dharma. Mm-hmm. It's where, you know, what you're good at, what you can make money at, what the world needs, like all these things intertwine. And that's what we're missing. So that's what I was missing. I'm speaking aloud right now. Yeah. Because whenever I don't have that mission like set and clear, that's when I'm like, oh, life's fuzzy. And I was like, oh, maybe I need to do more breath work or more I've been off my meditation lately. Like, no. For me, it's been like, okay, as soon as the mission's back, like, okay, now these things like breath work and these ice baths and stuff like that just help me be more me, channel more source energy to where whatever that mission is for you out there, me, it's my yoga and movement and just sharing, you know, my life now, a podcast. It's like, it helps you for that. Yeah. So when I've had it backwards, it's like, okay, what are you doing? Just getting super healthy for yourself? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But like, in terms of what you're bringing to the world and now what you're bringing to the world, it's like all those things, those health activities help you just dial in the antenna to where you can be more of service to the world. Definitely. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah. And I was going to say for me, because like I said, I got really into learning about health and wellness, human optimization for like, it's been like 2 or 3 years now of just like reading books, just taking in so much information. And like I said, it was mainly to heal my own issues. But since there was no mission, I became, and this also has to do with my personality a little bit too. I have a tendency to get obsessed with things, and that can be a good thing because it's good to be passionate.
Double-edged
if you
sword.
really want to achieve a goal, it's a double-edged sword for sure. And the reason is, for me, I didn't have a mission, so I just put so much mental energy on. I'll give an example actually. I started learning about circadian rhythm and how that's actually the key to having a healthy functioning body, and a lot of it has to do with light, your light exposure, whether it be sun gazing, getting natural light, or also blocking artificial light, learning about EMF, like non-native EMF, meaning the electromagnetic frequencies that are emitted from like Wi-Fi routers and stuff, because now we're learning that that's really bad for us, and it's good to know all that stuff, but me, being me, got super obsessed, and since I had no mission to distract me, I was fixated on it, and that was a big driver towards like my mental health breakdown and going like crazy, because I was like, oh my god, the lights! There's lights everywhere, I need oh my god, there's 5G towers, I'm getting blasted, and it was just like, I was like constantly under threat from my environment, and it just learning, like, that in and of itself, even though I was like knowledgeable on like how the human body works and how it should work and how to dial in circadian rhythm, and that mitigating these certain things is important in learning how to do it, how I handled it was very unhealthy. It was obsessed. I would get pissed off if someone turned the light on. I'd be like, how dare you turn the fucking light on in my house? And people would look at me, and I'd be having my blue blocking glasses on.
Your sympathetic gets activated just from a light turned on.
Yeah, exactly.
Backwards.
And that in and of itself was like mental health issues.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is, because I didn't have the mission, I was fixated and so focused and obsessed with all this other stuff that fed the fire of my poor mental health. And now that I have this mission, I have all this knowledge, and circadian rhythm is super important, wearing blue blocking glasses at night, very important, sun gate, doing all that stuff. But if I am not doing that and there's lights on right now, I'm not having a meltdown. And that's the important thing, and I think it's because I know that I'm on the right path and on the right mission, so I'm like, that light isn't going to kill me, because I still have stuff to do here. Like, okay, I'll put on blue blocking glasses when I can, but if I'm going out for dinner, I'm not going to be like, oh, fuck, there's a Wi-Fi router right there, fuck! You can't do that. And there's ways to mitigate, like we go in the ocean and stuff, but yeah. The point I'm making is, without having the mission, which is we believe to be like a main ingredient towards a holistic, healthy, masculine, and it could be feminine as well, but I'm just talking about the masculine energy right now. Having the mission is essential, because for me at least, I felt a lot more resilient when I felt like I was on the right path.
And I got to see it from the outside perspective.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a lot to say about
and just so everyone knows,
my journey.
Again, this podcast, if I have a woman on, I want to try to get as much Shakti, divine femininity in here as possible and help you guys out. But when it's two masculine dudes, obviously we're going to be speaking from... did it have to restart? Oh yeah, first technical difficulty on the podcast, but we're good. But back to what I was saying. To the Shaktis out there, we love you so much. We just can't bring as much value and relation to you, but just know the world is not the same without you, and it would never be the same. So like the ocean, everything moving, like that's your feminine energy. The water, the world, and most of the world is water, 70%, right? So it's like there's so much feminine energy everywhere, and we're in a state of the world right now where they have tried to demonize masculinity and pretty much term everything masculine as toxic masculinity. Like there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. It's just being toxic. And you wouldn't call the same things. It's like toxic femininity. Like you say that, you just sound like a dumbass. Yeah. Like people look at you like, what are you talking about? But no, anything can be toxic. It's just how the world has like tried to feminize men lately. That's part of the mission of this podcast too. for the men out there, we are trying to bring back that divine masculine, not the douchey masculine. Again, as some people would say, the toxic masculine.
Yeah, that's just a toxic person.
Yeah, just a toxic person
with an ego problem or trauma,
100%. Yeah,
unhealed trauma.
He's just a little boy inside.
Yeah, the inner
that
child.
big manly body of his.
Yeah.
But yeah, just so you know, we're always trying to bring the divine masculine and feminine out of everyone, and that's like one of the goals of this podcast too. As I've dove in deeper into Tantra and just the laws of the universe, the laws of polarity, I love it. I love it. And when I see people stepping into the divine masculine and feminine, that's when they make some moves. Like they make some ripples in the world. And ripples turn to waves.
Fuck yeah.
Waves turn into something you can ride and other people can ride as well. And it's a good life. Everyone loves surfing.
Speaking of feminine energy, I actually went to a woman's temazcal.
Yeah. Unknowingly.
Unknowingly, but they were nice enough to let me in. And that was the fucking hardest temazcal I'd ever been to.
He had to be Shiva and hold down the fort even though he wanted to leave. I would have done the same.
I wanted to leave right at the beginning, and the whole time I was like, I'm the only there was another guy there. Unbeknownst to me, I found out that after round 2, he ran out and was running out. I didn't know that, but I was telling myself from the beginning, like, you're a masculine man here. You need to maintain the Shiva energy and be stable and be calm. And I was not calm inside. I think I appeared calm on the outside, but after round 1, I was like, adios mio. Lie down. I had to lie down like super quick, and like the woman who was running it was a badass because so many people were asking to leave, and the one we go to normally, they're cool with it. They just say like, don't leave during the one of the 4 doors because it's dark. You can fall in the pit. But even when the doors were open, they would ask like, "Oh, permissio to leave," and she would say no. And I remember being like, "Holy fuck, this is intense," and it got me more frightened. And I kind of liked it.
I love it.
But yeah, just speaking of feminine energy, like that women's circle in the Temazcal. And for those of you that don't know what Temazcal is, it's a Mexican sweat lodge. And it's way gnarlier than any sauna you'll be in, and you sweat the demons out. There a lot of stuff happens. A lot of stuff happens in Temazcal. You can have breakdowns, hallucinate. You can pee yourself.
I've had a couple panic attacks.
You can puke. I've had several panic attacks in there.
But that's when you learn how to breathe through that stuff. You can do that in Temazcal. Oh, dude, you can do it anywhere else.
Oh, yeah, you feel like a warrior. That
actually brings me into, is that what you wanted to add about Temazcal? Because I think it's awesome. I think you're going to get into the Shakti energy being there. It was like intense. We've heard that from a few different women.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable around feminine energy. I actually prefer it, and I believe it's because like I have 2 older sisters and then my mom, so I had a lot of feminine energy in the household. And I just enjoy, like, we have our top women. I love being around them. So I felt very welcomed there, and it was just very beautiful energy. And we had to go around stating our intention, and obviously I had to say, like, thank you for letting me be here. I didn't want to tarnish it with my toxic masculinity. But no, it was very powerful, and the woman who ran it was a badass, very powerful woman. And like I said, it's just funny how, like, in modern society, it's like, oh, the masculine, they're strong, and, like, the women, they're weaker or whatever, which is complete bullshit, because that women's circle was the fucking hardest thing I've ever done. And, like, the majority of the women stayed in. A lot of them continued to sit on the bench, so that was, like, the highest elevation, so that's, like, the hottest spot to be. I was told to sit on the ground, and then there was a point where a lot of people had left, so if I wanted to, I probably could have sat on the bench to make it harder, and I was like, no, I'm going to keep sitting on... No mames. I'm going to keep sitting on the ground. But a lot of them stayed on the bench. It's like, holy fuck, you women are badasses. Like, it was great. So, yeah, it was a great experience. It was a wonderful mistake.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to be there.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, gracias por la Shakti energy of the world. We appreciate you, as always.
Mm-hmm.
And just so you know, you're why the masculine does just about 98% of what we do.
Yeah.
Most of the men I talk to, high performers, low performers, doesn't matter in the mix. Everyone does it for, I don't know what you would say, like why we do what we do, but the motivation of it is obviously, I think it comes down to the family dynamic. We want to be able to provide for a family one day.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? Having a Shakti, a wife, and a family with a wife, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So again, a lot of what we do are like so we can provide for that future wifey, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just for the feminine energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm down to make more money so I can spend more money on it. I don't know how many of my women friends are like, yeah, I want to make more money so I can spend it on guys.
Yeah.
Never heard that one before. So again, thank you for the motivation because I get a lot of motivation for it.
Yeah.
So that brings me. Did you want to add anything to that?
No, I completely agree with
You
that.
agree?
I love being able
Helps.
to provide and protect and all that stuff, and yeah, that's a major motivator for me as well.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so I'm gonna go into a speed round of questions.
Oh boy.
These questions you cannot you got 10 seconds, dude. Answer in under 10 seconds. I don't want you to think. I want the subconscious mind to go. All right.
It's okay.
So why do you like cold exposure over heat exposure?
Just the way it makes me feel. I get a massive dopamine surge, and I find the shock is much more painful than the heat. The heat kind of a build-up.
Beautiful, beautiful. Why do you red light your balls in the mornings?
Many reasons. My one theory is that the root chakra is there. It's red. It's the color red, so why not shine more red light on it to energize it? Also, it's good for testosterone and improving sex life.
Alrighty, very similar. Why do you tan your perineum? I heard a funny rumor you did it a few times.
Yeah, because you were right next to me.
Why so, David?
Same reason, but that's even healthier actually because the red light is an artificial light. Sun, you're getting full spectrum, which different frequencies of light carry different information, different healing properties.
Wonderful. Why do you walk around barefoot, especially in airports?
Ooh. Well, obviously, being barefoot, you're grounded, you're connected to the earth, so you're receiving the negative ions. That's the negative charge. We're electrical beings. Our body runs electrically, so you want more of a negative charge, just like a battery. But I'm at the point now where I'm just more comfortable, and I wanted to be the first person to travel without ever putting shoes on. And I don't know if I was the first person, but I'd like to think so, and it was a very accomplishing thing that I did. I was at like 4 different airports.
We can think so.
I didn't wear shoes once, and you should have seen all the people looking at me. I looked like a crazy person. There's other reasons to that too, what I was wearing and.
All right, I let him go on that one because that one's good. I'm not wearing shoes from now in the airport too. And other side note is always opt out for the
I didn't know that. Yeah.
What's that thing called?
Like the X-ray scanner thing.
Very invasive machine they have there waiting for you.
Yeah, we were talking about EMF earlier. You don't want to
Yeah.
blast yourself with
Yeah.
radiation. That's
Yeah.
a huge way. But I didn't know that was an option. And I was like, ooh, they made my fucking
Yeah.
dog
Oh,
walk through that.
No. Do TSA pre-check if you can, and always opt out for a body check. If you're in the U.S., it's going to be a 3-4 minute body check. If you're in Mexico or somewhere, they're like, bat, 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 you're good.
Yeah.
Anyways, what was the next one? Oh, yeah. What was your favorite signal moment? If you had to detail a favorite moment in your life, or you've seen, what was one of your favorite Sigma moments you've had?
Oh, God.
Quick, what's awesome?
Favorite Sigma moment.
I know which one popped into my mind when I asked that.
For me?
Me.
Oh.
We shared the moment.
What was it?
It was whenever I said...
I'm drawing a blank right now.
Our buddy Trevor hopped in the ice bath for the first time. He's just like so chill. I'm like, damn, he's Sigma as it gets. And he's like, just thinking about it, everybody else is laughing. He's like, he went home that night and YouTube and Googled what Sigma was.
Well,
he's like, oh yeah. He's like, I didn't know if I needed to fight him or not.
Well, if you're talking about that, Trevor, pretty much I spent a lot of time with him. So, he's the ultimate Sigma. So, whatever he does has been my biggest Sigma moment. The way he responds to things. Yeah. Shout out to Trevor. Trevor Green Comedy. That's his Instagram. He's a stand-up comedian.
I love it. Last question. But this one is only going to be seen by the Patreon supporters over on Patreon. Do you want to drink your own piss today?
Really?
Yeah.
Sure.
We're going to piss in a cup right now and drink it. Sure?
Okay.
Let's do it, bro. We'll be right back. If you're not on Patreon, we'll see you in a second. Okay, yo.
I feel more vibrant.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy right now.
I don't know.
You got to go see that on Patreon if you want to go watch that. That was an interesting 10 minutes of my life.
I feel like I have more stem cells. I can just
feel like my vision is better.
I feel like I'm telepathic. I can hear voices.
Like the first time we ate fish eyes, we're like, you see better? I see.
I can see through things.
Okay, y'all. That was episode 1. I hope you all enjoyed. We had Iceman on the podcast, and he's going to be a reoccurring guest, just so you know. Oh my God, I feel like my thoughts are more clear now. Man, this is I'm on placebo effect now. The piss got me going, you know? But anyways.
I feel different.
I do too. I don't know if it's because we did something different or it's the serum. AKA our piss. 3 minutes left? All right, perfect. So yeah, with that being said, I want to wrap it up and just to let you guys know, he's going to be a recurring guest on this podcast, so he's going to be here a lot. And when he isn't right here, he's going to be in the back. Come up here, girl. I want people to see your pretty face.
What?
Yeah. Come on.
No.
Yeah, come on. We're not continuing. We got 2 minutes left. Come on. Yeah, here she comes, guys. Here she comes.
We drink our pee on camera, and you can't show your face?
Come on. So this is one of the top women. She's going to make all the magic happen. How you doing? She's going to be behind the camera, but when Dave is not here, Dave is going to be behind the camera, but she'll always be around. You never know. Nobody knows, right?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows we're going to drink our own pee.
She's shy. I love it. But with that being said, the main mission of this podcast is to just be a channel. So again, it's not about us. It's about us. You know what I mean?
Collective.
Yeah, the collective. So, I mean, genuinely, I love my life already. I love the money I'm making. I love my friends. I love my family. I love my day-to-day routine. Like, what else is there other than, like, ego-based stuff? So, like, I'm not trying to go that route. So I'm trying to go the route where I'm the biggest channel as possible. Like, bringing you source energy. So that's why we do the health spinner stuff. That's why we're doing the ice bath stuff. And that's why I love being friends with people like Dave. Because we're doing that stuff and we're polishing our fucking antenna. And we're getting our antenna on point to where we're radiating the best energy we can to bring the best energy to everyone around us. So with that being said, I really appreciate you being on the first pod and can't wait to having you on more, of course.
I appreciate being here. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was awesome. And I feel like a superhuman now after what I just drank.
A couple gulps of piss and you never know. Anything's fine. So yeah, with that being said, the mission of this podcast is to help you move more so you can make more. And that means money, make more fulfillment, more joy, more love, more sex, good sex, more everything. More cuddles with the things you like, the people you like, just more of the good stuff. So if we can bring that to you, we won.
More asshole tanning.
Yes, get that perineum in the sun. And until next time, we'll see you on episode